Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, Chicago scene in the Lincoln Square neighborhood at a new baseball hitting facility. I'm here with my friends Jason and Mark. How you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. So this is something a little new for people who haven't quite done this type of thing before, because this brings all the electronic and all of the data that you can collect electronically into a sport that's over 100 years old, kind of, right?
Exactly. Yep, you got it. We did a lot of research trying to find the best technology that's out there. We partnered with HitTrax, Swing Catalyst. We also have a number of pressure plates and 3D motion capture abilities, high-speed video, to really try to bring every type of analysis to kids, to players in the neighborhood.
Mark, this is your background with diving into IT. This was an IT place.
Yep.
Pandemic happens though, and you decide, as you've coached over the years, some little league, you know what? Like, why not combine what I love about IT and baseball and teach hitting? Is that kind of where it started?
You're 100% correct with that. I've always loved baseball. As my kids got older, I got more and more into coaching. And when the pandemic hit, everybody went remote in an office space that I had here in Lincoln Square. I brought some of this technology into my home to work with my kids and some of their friends, and it really took off from there. Everybody loved coming in, especially the HitTrax systems. There's a lot of gaming we can do on that, from home run derby to quality hit games, and even head-to-head 7-player games, 8-player games. So there's a lot of interesting things that we can do that I did during the pandemic at home. And then when we got to the point of things reopening, everybody really wanted to stay remote, so we shifted directions with the space I had here. Instead of selling it or trying to do something like that, lets me stay in a neighborhood that I love, lets me work with kids, and really brings the kind of next generation of baseball into a small space that's in everybody's backyard here.
Right, and Jason, you're part of the process here, part of the partnership with the instruction of all things baseball here and combining it with this technology. And I got to say, it's been a few years since I played baseball in high school and college, but this is the kind of stuff that I would have loved to have even back then. And this is the kind of stuff I feel like major league teams are taking advantage of, either by the similar programs right here or even advanced version of it, but nonetheless, pretty much the same type of scenario, right?
Sure, yeah. This is just another tool for the kids to use to get better. I mean, it's all about the kids getting better. We could tell them what to do. We could show them what to do. But some of the kids are starting to understand the technology, and if it clicks with that, if we get one kid better with that, then we've done our job. So it's all about getting the kids better, and another tool to do that.
Right, and some of the tools that you were showing me, you have the vest that will give the analytics of the types of swings they have, either using with their hands and their legs and their hips and the explosion that creates when you swing. You can dial all that down to the very nuances of the swing, right?
Correct. Yes, with the new technology and the slow motion camera, we can get all that stuff and really dissect the swing where we want to look at there, and some of the stuff that we couldn't see before with just a regular instruction, now we can, and we can crunch that data there.
Yeah, and you even have different versions of it, from pitching to catching and also hitting. You start off with the T-ball stuff, or hitting off the tee, I should say, but it's not just a typical batting cage is what I'm getting at, because you can get all these different views, especially with the different programs, on whether or not it's catchers knowing how fast they can throw down to second, pitchers knowing where they're hitting their mark and all that stuff, right?
Correct, yes, yeah. We have, they're able to cover every aspect of the game, the specialty positions, pitcher, catcher, measure the metrics on that, and the hitting too, of course. There's all that extra movement in there, so we could break it down and see that.
Perfect. So, Mark, if for people who are coming by here who maybe are new to the neighborhood or seeing this video, and they really want to take their kids' baseball career into a different path, this is a different path for sure. This is not just like going to the batting cages. So, walk me through like what people should expect when they come in here, and if they're getting analysis for the first time for their kid.
Sure. So one of the things that we've really found out is kids are visual learners, that explaining how to do things and what kids think they're doing is very different than what they're actually doing. Right. So there's not necessarily one tool that fixes things for everybody. A lot of times it's just finding inefficiencies in a swing and helping them get better. So we may bring out one or two of our tools. The video is something we use quite a bit of. But for the first time client coming in the door, first time player coming in the door, we start with a baseline assessment, which just measures a lot of their exit velocity, launch angles, a lot of their base T.
Stuff that people might hear if they're watching a baseball game these days. Launch angles and all that stuff, right?
Yep. And the goal with that is to create a starting point, whether they're training here or on their own or with other instructors around town. It's creating a benchmark that lets them see where they are today. Let's say they put in 3 days of work for the next 2 months. Let's find out how far they grew over that time. Let's really try to create benchmarks to aim for that are scientifically based, not just mom or dad saying, oh, your swing's looking better, or what the scorebook says. Right. A lot of times you can show a ton of improvement as a player that may not show up on the field. So this is a way to really keep kids encouraged and letting them know they're on the right path. And more importantly than anything, if you're training for months at a time and your numbers aren't improving, we need to change something. We either need to change how you're training, strength training. There's no point in continuing things that aren't helping you move in the right direction.
Right. So for somebody who comes here for the first time, how long would you expect them to be here? Like, what's a first session like in terms of time?
Our base analysis is a 30-minute session where we put you through a number of different systems and get some video, but really capturing that data. So I recommend everybody starts with that, just so we know where you're growing, where you're moving to, kind of that day one benchmark.
And then go on from there, and that's a plan that you kind of determine, where then parents can see the end result with their analytics that you collect in the room there, and also a spot where parents can kind of hang out and wait, and they get all that analytic, and then hopefully move on to bigger and better things as far as their hitting career and catching and pitching as well, right?
Absolutely. After that first session, we will come up with a plan that may be just some drills to do at home, something that at least sets you on the right path to help with things we may identify. We may recommend coming in trying to get instruction. A lot of times baseball is just a game of repetition.
Yep.
And good
muscle memory, right?
Yep. So, creating the right muscle memory, creating the right types of swings. So just getting cage time in here might be the best thing for certain players, just to build that muscle memory, that have a good understanding of what they need to do in their swing.
Yeah, especially as we live in the city that we live in Chicago, where in the summertime it could be 50 degrees and rainy in the middle of July, or in February when it's just downright awful to be outside. This is a good spot for people to come in, get some cage time like you said. What's the best way for people to follow up with you guys and really learn about more what you guys have to offer here?
Yep, they can go to our website, swingscience.com, or they can go on Instagram to Swing Science Hitting Lab and find us either of those places. We have some great videos up. They can find out about our services. One of the things that's really unique that we bring to the table is combining that entertainment factor with training, whether it's just playing a game or at least getting that visual information that's going to help kids recognize how to get better. So it's fun. I think there's some good things on the website that go through all the different things, from gaming to personal training to group sessions, team sessions. So that's where I'd point everybody to start.
Yeah, and you can even pick the background you want to hit on at Wrigley Field, or you can, if you really want to go to different parts of the world, you can. Comiskey Park, even in Cooperstown at for the Little League World Series, right?
Yep. You can play in Williamsport. I think we have every major league stadium available. We're working on blocking St. Louis, but we haven't figured out a way to do that yet.
Well, we'll never stop, right? Well, thank you both very much. I appreciate the time. And again, real quick, what's the Instagram handle?
Swing Science Hitting Lab.
Perfect. Well, that is a wrap here. So if you want your kids to come out here and learn a little bit about baseball, check them out. TBARNAS at WGNTV.com. If you have a suggestion for the Chicago scene, that's TBarnes at WGNTV.com. Thanks a lot, and thank you guys. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for coming in.